Let's see if I'm in the shot. Let me fix my camera. We're talking about what makes you feel good and how you decide to discover the reason for this. Why are you exercising, for example? So let's come to a standing pose. And what I want you to do, I don't know if you can see, but I have my legs stuck together and my thigh bones and knees and toes pointing out. So let's start here in this kind of, I don't know, standing dancer pose and press your toes down. So like we always do, notice the big toe to the little toe and press them all down. Now squeeze the heels together. A lot of us have a tendency to keep the heels apart. Squeeze the heels together. All right, so from there, we're going to releve. That is, lift the heels up and down. Now keep a seal between the heels and squeeze the gluteus. What we're working here today, good, is the gluteus minimus and the medius. Gluteus maximus gets plenty of workout when we do things like walking and climbing and going up and down stairs and squats and lunges, which we'll do a little bit here. But gluteus minimus holds the hips together so that they don't sway out to the side. So squeeze the gluteals together, making like a shelf, holding us in and pulling us up. Also squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. You're, of course, feeling the calf muscles. What I said we're working on is strengthen you. So you have to discover for yourself, what's the reason for this change? So you weren't exercising a few minutes ago. You may not be exercising tomorrow. Why do you need to do it now? So the reason that you came to exercise here with me today, remember that reason, because that's what's going to propel you forward. All right, let's bring those heels down. Now I want you to try to micro bend the knees and then squeeze the legs together. Micro bend and squeeze. Now what's important here is the squeeze and lift and pull up. So you're bending your knees, but you're squeezing. So this is called bar. It comes from ballet. But really the point is that we're training muscles that have gotten, here's the term, amnesia. So it's funny that our muscles forget. And they do that through habitual patterns of non-use. So tailbone down, so make sure you're not sort of pushing that out back there, and squeeze and pull the abdominals in and up. So what we're doing today is we're working the low back muscles called the multifidus muscles. You'll see that on a, I'll probably put that on a video here, over here. Multifidus muscles are muscles that run up and down the spine, and they anchor into this back of the hips, and then to each of the vertebrae. And they hold us upright. So squeeze those low back muscles. It's hard to think of those because all they typically do is they keep us from falling forward. All right, so come up, squeeze, hold. So what we just did was called releve, heels up, down, squeezing the heels together, and then plie. So those two together engage the pelvic floor and the low back. All right, this is good stuff, isn't it? All right, I want to try to come to a lunge. So step 1 foot forward, and then the other leg back. Now the one on the back, mostly point it forward, and then come down and hold. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, come down and hold. Now, same thing we've just been doing. Squeeze the abdominals, as we always do. Squeeze those multifidus muscles, the muscles in the back. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Remember those gluteals? We're going to take the arms up into like a letter W here and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze, squeeze. So what we're doing is taking the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, working the upper back. So for all of us slouchers out there, all of us, and that's all of us, I do it too, we spend time slouching down into our chairs. Now, when you squeeze, come down, and then everything comes back up. So pull down, lift up. Good. Pull down, lift up. This is some good work here. We're really strengthening the back muscles while stretching the front muscles. So the multifidus muscles, like so many of our muscles of our body, get amnesia, meaning they stop knowing what they're supposed to be doing. So send awareness into the back muscles and squeeze them 2 more times. Squeeze and squeeze. Let's come up. Let's kind of shake those legs out. So once you've gotten, so you probably feel one leg over the other, come to Tadasana. So you probably know that means just stand evenly with both feet pressing down. The femurs, the leg bones, trying to be as parallel as possible. pull the shoulders back. Just work. Let's close our eyes for 2 or 3 breaths on moving the ribs when you breathe. Take your time here. Remember, what I'm trying to do is create a harmony between what we think of as exercise and health. They're not different things. So breathing is just as important as, let's say, exercising your musculoskeletal system. Good, so then open your eyes. Good, let's go to the other side. So I'm gonna turn. The other leg forward, one leg back. Squeeze the inner abdominal. So there's like a, I don't know, like a basket, I guess, of muscles on the pelvic floor, the lower abdominal muscles, the ones that connect to the low back, and they all come together and pull you in and up. It's like you're in there like in a hammock. Squeeze all those, like you're taking the bones of the hips, the pubic bone and the sacrum, and you're pulling those 4 points together. Good. From here, bend the back knee and hold. Keep squeezing that hammock of muscles, pelvic floor, squeezing the 2 sits bones together. The hip bones, squeeze those together. That would be the front lower abdominals here. Pubic bone to sacrum. That would be the psoas and the multifidus. All right, let's take the elbows up and out. Same thing. Squeeze the arms and the elbows down and back and release. Squeeze. Exhale, pull the belly in and up. Squeeze. So really integrate your breath. Remember that we believe ourselves. That's true. It doesn't matter how crazy or wrong we are, even when we know we're wrong. How often have we said, oh, I know it doesn't make sense, but I believe this anyway, or I say this anyway. So here we go. We're going to bend the knee, squeeze the elbows back and behind, and come up. Bend the knee, squeeze back and behind, and come up. So, but we believe ourselves. Even though we know a lot of the things we say don't make any sense, like, oh, nobody likes me, or, you know, I don't belong there. If I go do that thing, it won't work. You know, we know that's not true, but we believe ourselves. I'm too tired to work out today. I'm too busy to exercise today. We believe these things. So if we say it, no matter how wrong it can be, we're going to believe it. So the solution is really clear. You exchange those thoughts. You replace them with positive thoughts. One more time. And you're saying, stop talking. And then come up, shake that out. That was a lot of good work. I know you feel the quadriceps burning here. But I want you to pay as much attention to the multifidus muscles here on the back. That was good. That was some good stuff. All right. So we'll just come to like parallel standing, and just lift the heels up and hold and down. So try coming up and holding. I got to concentrate a little. Some of you know this balance work is important. In yoga this week, we're going to be talking about the wrists and how by moving the wrist and training the wrists to move and hold, what we're actually doing is preventing a break for when we fall. Because when you fall, you don't control which hand and how you fall, you just fall. So if we can strengthen and make the wrists intelligent to catch us, then when we fall, we won't break something else like a hip or a vertebrae or a shoulder. All right, so we're trying to stay up a little bit longer each time. Stay up, 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 up. So just try to hold and stay. Working on that balance. And then come down. Now what I'd like you to do is turn your toes a little in. I'll face you so you can see what I'm doing. Toes a little bit in. Knees, of course, a little bit in. And that same thing, lift and hold and down. So what are we doing here? There's different calf muscles that hold us. And from different angles at the ankle. Last week we were saying that the knees have to deal with whatever's going on wrong in the ankles, because the ankles are stuck to the earth. And when we land our feet, we do all of these movements, we don't necessarily land, you know, straight on. So there's up to all these other ancillary, these smaller muscles, peroneal muscles on the outside to hold on, and the tibialis in the front. So try to stay up as long as you can. Come up and hold, 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 hold. Remember, we can't train muscles we're not using. So here's a good example. I don't know when the last time you did this was. I know I haven't. So if I've not used this muscle, it obviously isn't even going to have the intelligence to say, this is what I do. It doesn't remember that. All right, let's come down. Let's come all the way down. Let's see if I can stay on screen as we come down to the floor. Good. So as you're getting ready and coming down to the floor with me, I want to remind you that you believe yourself. Let's just round the back here and take a nice little stretch. That was a lot of work on the calf. And then extend the spine. I want to remind you what extend the spine means. I'm about to get a little visitor here. Say that. Extend the spine means hollow out the back. Hollow out the back and use those multifidus muscles from the back of the skull to the tailbone. Every 2 vertebrae, 3 vertebrae, there's these little muscles. They're not little, actually. They're long. They connect to everything. So let's bring the hands to the floor and actually really extend. Don't go into the desert, Phineas. Stay here with me. He hears me. Downward dog. No chance. No chance of doing that. All right, what I want to do is come down and test your glutes. So here's the question. How do you know if you have gluteal amnesia? Gluteal amnesia, that sounds funny, doesn't it? Let's take the hands under the glutes. Now I'm going to see if I can turn my hands. Yeah, I guess I can. So my palms are up. If you can, otherwise, whatever you can do. So you can feel your glutes. Feel your glutes. It's safe. You're in your house. I want you to squeeze your glutes and release. Squeeze and release. Now the question is, when you say squeeze, when I say squeeze, and you try, do you feel that? I think the answer should be yes. I think most of us have some of that. Now just squeeze one side and release. Squeeze the other side and release. Now same question. Can you control? You know, when you say squeeze that left side, it does it. Squeeze the right side. So that's the test for gluteal amnesia. It's possible that you're not even sure when you're squeezing and when you're not. So feeling, or it's called palpating a muscle, when it's contracting is a way to get that connectivity. Let's take our hands out. Then, with the palms facing the floor, push down, lift up to bridge. Now, the same practice we did when we were in that lunge, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze that lower. And this is how you squeeze the lower one. You have these 2 hip bones. You can usually feel that here. Squeeze them as if they're squeezing together. And that takes the skin right there and pulls it into like woven. And the more you think that, remember I said you believe yourself, the more you think that I'm squeezing, I'm connecting. Now the same thing on the back, from the sacrum to the pubic bone. There's again this like basket, and when that contracts, see if you can feel all that contracting, it creates a strong, like a shelf for the whole body. Oh, losing another dog here. See if she knocks my microphone. No, she did good. Look at that. All right, let's come down. Hug one knee in, stretch the other leg out, but that other leg is off the rocks here, off the rocks, and then switch. And then switch again. And then switch again. So I do mean to give you enough exercise here, and this counts as a day's worth of workout. But on the other hand, if you want to keep going and go for a nice 20-minute walk after this, that would be good too. So you can do, to answer that question, you can do like strength training, what we're doing here, and kind of cardio on the same day. It just depends on how hard you're working on each one. All right, from here, I want you to come to your side. I'm going to hold my head up here. Bring the legs up off the floor. For many of us, this is enough. If you can, though, widen your knees. Remember we did this before, the heels were together, and then close. Widen and close. Widen and close. Okay, so you could keep your legs down and just move the top one. There's an option. Or you can do what I call this flying clamshell. Just a lot of fun. Now I have my head up just so that I look better. But you can leave your head down. Nobody's looking at you. Flying clamshell. What we're doing is working the tensor fascia latae on this top leg and this sideways. And that's the anchor, and that's what's important here. So remember these 3 things. See if you can remember this. 1, discover the reason for the change. If you need something better in your life, let's say you want to get stronger, the title this week is Strengthen You. How do you do that? Well, you tune into Candace's FitCast, or you get a trainer, or you go to the gym, or you just pick up weights and, figure it out yourself. 2 more times, I'm losing it here. And release down. Just let that leg stretch forward. I gotta get rid of that thing on my screen. Good, go to the other side. So usually what I tell people is flip. If you roll over, you'll not be facing me. You think that's funny? I have a lot of people that kind of get confused by that little thing there. So what did we do? We came to the side, kind of lifted both legs, keep the heels together, widen the knees, and close the knees. Now remember that little hammocky thing that I described before. Abs pulling in, low back squeezing in, the 2 hip bones in front squeezing together, and the sacrum pulling towards the pubic bone. It seems like a lot going on down there. I asked you to remember 3 things. Let's give you a quiz. It's discover the reason for your change. That's the most important thing. So many times people come to me and they say, and they know the reason. They know the reason. That's actually easy. I say, why do you want to change? Why do you want to get healthy? My doctor said, I'm tired of feeling this way. I used to be fit. There are all kinds of reasons. So people usually know the reason. You believe yourself. Remember, that's important. You believe yourself. The third thing is you have to believe in the positive outcome. So if I keep doing this flying clamshell here, there's going to be a positive outcome. Even if it is, at some point I'll be done. Sometimes you really have to talk to yourself. 2 more, I know. And release. So stretch, take this top leg over, hang back, relax down. So those are the 3 things I want you to remember. When you need to make a change, knowing why, and then making that reason really present. One way to do it is to keep repeating it to yourself. I'm going to be healthy. I have to feel better. I'm going to feel better. I believe that I can make these positive changes. That's one way. Another way is to enlist people. So that's what we are doing here. I see you, you see me. We come together, some of us in real life sometimes, and that is a positive change. And I know that it matters to me that you're here and vice versa. But I'm going to show up. That's what's going to happen. All right. I get one more set of exercises here, do I? Let's come to the back. All right, let's work on that transversus abdominis again. Remember, it's a big strap around the belly. Squeeze the belly. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze the low back. Remember, the multifidus runs up and down the spine, almost like they're going up into extension, almost like a little, you got some fish pose in yoga, that it might be like that. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now from here, take one leg and slide it out. Now my leg's not really touching the floor, it's hovering. And then I slide it back. It can slide though. If you got a nice slidey floor, slide it out and back. What I want you to do while you're doing this is just stay paying attention to the transversus abdominis and how it's squeezing. That transversus abdominis is a big muscle. It covers about from the top of your thighs almost that far down to the second or third rib up here. So if you could wear like a corset or something around there all day long, like a big cummerbund so that people can't see, that's what the transversus abdominis does. That's exactly what it does, is it pulls it all in and holds you, gives you that stamina and support. One more time, slide out, slide in. Now hold that foot levitating and then twist the knee out and back in and up. Twist it out and back in and up. Now you really should be noticing not only the transversus abdominis here, but the oblique that's attached to that side hip as it pulls your leg back in and up. This is really good stuff, guys. You're really getting a good workout. And this is giving that mind, body, mind, abdominal, a connection so that when you get up and you go lift that 30, 50 pound bag of dog food or, all the groceries or I don't know what else people are doing now. My neighbors out there mowing their lawn. You remember that. So one of each. Slide out, pull in, tip out, back up. Slide out, pull in. Notice the transverse abdominis. Notice that multifidus. Remember, we're squeezing the back, almost like you're arching the spine up off the floor. Slide out and in. Tip out and up. Squeeze your abdominals. So almost forget what the leg is doing. Think more about the abdominals. So the more I say this, squeeze your abdominals in, activate the multifidus, that hammock of the pelvic floor, the more you're going to do it. Breathe. Sometimes we forget that little thing. One more time now, in. And then we're going to switch sides. So you don't have to move. You just go to the other leg. I'm switching because I thought Ivory was going to knock everything over right there. All right, let's start from the beginning. Transverse abdominis squeezing in, low back squeezing in and up, almost like you can slide your hand under. You don't have to. Some people have that space, some people don't, but almost like you're extending so that the low back is activated. Here we go. Get the pelvic floor rocking, pull these two frontal hip bones together, then slide this other leg out and in. We'll do a couple of those. So keep the pelvis stable, what we call silent. So if you can list the positive outcomes to exercise, I feel better, I look better, my health, you know, and you can enumerate my digestion. That's the thing that I always, if I'm not doing exercise, my digestion stops. And, you know, all these other things happen. I feel bad. If you can list the positive outcomes and keep telling yourself that, and then, you know, make it present. Put a big sign on your wall, you know, I'm gonna work out today or something. Or, you know, enlist a friend who will text you every day. All right, one more. Squeeze the abs in. Here's where we take the knee out. Yep, and back up. Out and up. Now, when the leg goes out and down, make sure that your hips not, I'm gonna exaggerate this, make sure you're not rolling. So keep the hips pointing up at the ceiling. Got these little, you know, headlights going on here. And I'm just letting the leg move. The leg is fully capable of moving. That's not too hard. What is hard is keeping the transversus abdominis engaged, keeping that girdle or that corset around the waist, holding. 2 or 3 more like this. So the transverse abdominis, multifidus, I can't say these muscles enough. They are anticipatory. Okay, one of each. Out to the side, slide out and in. Out to the side. They are anticipatory movement muscles. What does that mean? It means that anytime you're going to move, anything, you know, you're going to go pick up a little dog that's really, really small. You prepare by squeezing those muscles. But the truth is we can get out of shape, get out of training, so that we forget how to move those muscles. I know, who am I talking to, Phineas? There's people listening. Yeah, and they can see you too. So anticipatory muscles means that those muscles should be firing even when we're not consciously thinking about it. But right now, consciously, squeeze your abdominals. We've got about 3 or 4 more to go here. By now, those abs are really getting kind of tired of being squeezed. Don't forget to exhale. The exhale is where the energy is. All right, and relax. Just let the body lay out for a minute. And before we got to stretch that hip flexor, I think, before we go into our kind of shavasana. You can probably feel the hip flexor, the lower abdominal. You feel that being reactivated. And the muscle I wanted to reactivate today, again, was the multifidus, which are long cable-like muscles up and down the back that inhibit. There's something called reciprocal inhibition, which means when one muscle group is pulling for a long time, the other one lets go. It's like, all right, I got it. You're the strong one. I'm giving up. So what happens, come over to the side. We'll catch this foot, not this foot, with this foot, and pull it into the glute. Drop the knee down. So this is a good example. Our hamstrings and glutes can get really, really strong, tight, and weak, but they're tight is the point. And so our quadriceps winds up giving up and they stop doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. Another good example is our chest and our shoulders. We round forward so much so often that our back muscles, in particular these low back, these multifidus muscles, relax, let go, and they forget what they're supposed to do. That's called reciprocal inhibition, that when one muscle group gets too strong or tight, the one on the opposing side eventually lets go and stops knowing. Because when a muscle is not being used, the nerves actually become reassigned. They detach from the muscle, they kind of go someplace else, or they just kind of float in space and don't remember what they're supposed to do. That feels pretty good. All right, so we got to roll, rock or roll, or flip to the other side. We did some really good stretches and strengthen. The goal today was to strengthen you. So the strengthen you was to re-educate, retrain muscles that have forgotten what their role here was. But strength in, I-N-U, meant that you believe yourself. And that's a good thing. So it doesn't matter how much Candace tells you, you should be exercising. Believe me, I've been doing this 20 years now. It doesn't matter how many times I say you should be exercising. What matters is that you have a reason. And once you connect the reason to the outcome, you will do it again and again and again and again. And one of those outcomes is dopamine. One of the main reasons we eat is because of that release of dopamine. You know, there's a little bit of the taste, but the taste just associates, I feel good because I've eaten that, especially sugar, especially fat. So once you connect that eating releases dopamine, you do it again and again and again and again. So once you connect, hopefully, that exercise releases dopamine, you'll do it again and again. I want to stretch a little bit more though here. Let's roll to the back, cross one ankle over the knee, pull the legs in. All right, I want you to start. Some of you know by heart the breathing. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. About at that tempo. Slow breath in, slow breath out. I know you're feeling, we worked hard with the glute bridges and then that flying clamshell and the plie. We actually worked really hard on the side hip, so you're probably feeling that. If it feels better, take your knee a bit across and in, like you're angling it over to your other armpit. You kind of fold or press down on the outer edge of the knee. Stretch that. Do that breathing again. Good, a little unwind. Let's go to the other leg. Recross, just pull it straight in at first. Mainly, this is the gluteus maximus stretch. A little bit of gluteus minimus and medius. They go in kind of a different angle, a little slightly different angle. So we'd have to twist the leg a little to get into those. The maximus is responsible for 90% of what we do, walking and squatting and lunging, and we did those lunges. The good thing it's the biggest one. Take a deep breath in. Believe in you. Strength in you. Remember that you're in control here, and that's really good. That you're deciding that you're doing this. Take this knee a little bit across the body and pull it in towards the opposite shoulder. You can wrap this opposite arm around to pull it down and in. A lot of people can't reach that. That's okay. You don't have to pull it all the way down and in. All right, let's release out. Come all the way into Shavasana. So for a lot of us, I'm going to sit up. You come all the way down to a lying pose. So just let your legs and your arms kind of turn out, open up, and release down. I want you to close your eyes. And this is the blue. So as you come into our final resting pose, and this is important for any session, but especially these mind-body sessions, where your mind has been as actively engaged as the muscles in the body. I want you to soak all of your muscles down into the floor. So picture the bones now getting heavy. And now as the bones get heavy, imagine that the joints are falling open, as if you are falling apart. Keep releasing the tension that your mind puts on your body. Now connect your breath to a healing cycle. The breath goes in, it kind of stirs around, cleans out, and opens up. The breath goes out, and the body is left relaxed and clean. Inhale, let the body open up. Exhale, let go of any unhappy thoughts. Let's come up with a positive mantra. That just means something. Mantra means seed or mind vehicle. Our minds exercise, move, and learn as much as or more than the body. So we give the mind a positive seed, a positive thought to keep playing again and again. It literally will change the way the mind interacts with itself and the body. I am aware of my strength. I am grateful for this. And remember, if you need convincing, you've been through a lot. You've had a lot of struggles, and they're not done. But all of those struggles and all of those conflicts, you've overcome them. So if you need convincing, you need to look at the facts that you have been through a lot and you have overcome. That all of those mountains can have been behind you because you climbed them already. But once you believe that, just repeat the outcome. I am strong. I am aware of my strength. I am grateful for this. I am strong. I am aware of my strength. I am grateful for this. I am strong. I am aware of my strength. And I am grateful for this. I am strong. I am aware of my strength. I am grateful for this. Now, if that were a seed, you would plant it, you would water it, meaning you would say it again and acknowledge that it's there and forget about it. But you would let it rest, because in a seed has all of the instructions for you to grow. You may have to clear out the way around it. The seed can't grow with clutter. So you may be forced to let go of any unhappy or self-limiting thoughts. You came here for a reason. The outcome that you desire is on this path. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. Keep going. I want you to keep your breath long and smooth. Don't stop. Even if you feel like you're getting too much oxygen. For another 20, 30 seconds, we want that. We're repaying to the body all the energy that we used up in our practice. You're strong. The strength is in you because you struggled. Keep the breath slow and steady. Doesn't matter how many breaths. Just keep filling and emptying. Doesn't matter what thoughts come in, they're bound to change anyway. So begin now to roll to your side. Open your eyes. Push off the floor. Come meet me in this easy pose. I just like this pose because it's a nice way for us to reconnect. I like to bring the hands together to seal this, that you and I are here back together. So just bring the hands down, give a little stretch into the forearms and work into those wrists a little bit. Kind of scratching or cracking the fingers out. Then from there, inhale and circle the arms up overhead. Extend back a little bit. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, just circle back and in and together. And you're done. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. We did a really good practice today. So catch this on repeat on my website and then catch me live, I guess, during the week. And remember, the strength is in you. I appreciate you. Have a good day.